All right, so tonight we're making some homemade pizza. And pizza is like a sandwich. You can put anything you want on top. It's not always just tomato sauce and cheese. I'm doing some fried onions. I'm going to make a couple different ones. You can make your own dough, but today I just stopped by the local pizza shop and I just got a couple of rolls of dough. You can pretty much any pizza place will just sell you some dough. So one that you like obviously would be preferred. If you go somewhere and think that they had great dough, you should go there. So here I'm just doing fried onions on one, and I wanted to do one with Dijon mustard and fried onions and Gruyere, which I ate at this restaurant near us called George's, but unfortunately I forgot the Dijon mustard again. So I'll just throw this fried onions. My husband loves them. I'm going to put them on one of the pizzas. I'm just going to grab a bowl because I'm going to take this out. I'm just preparing the toppings first on this grill, and then we will figure out. The kids are going to make their own little pizzas. I'm going to give them some dough and get them involved and let them do whatever kinds they want. Usually theirs are, of course, a little bit more traditional, but I have a bunch of herbs ready to go and, of course, different kinds of cheeses and different kinds of veggies to put on top. My personal favorite is a Greek pizza with olives and red pepper and spinach.
You had that somewhere.
I did have that. There's a place called Pizza Pizza, and they have all different kinds of pizzas near us. And I love the Greek one with the, like I said, with red onions, peppers. So again, of course, I don't have all the ingredients, so I'm just gonna do whatever I have to make it. And also, you could do this whole thing outside on the grill, and it's raining and sort of storming here, so I'm not gonna do it that way, but you would do the first step. I have my indoor grill. I'm going to actually grill my pizza crust on the bottom. We like it extra crispy, so I grill it and then I'm going to stick it in the oven. Again, if you did it outside, you could grill it on your grill for a little bit, the dough, maybe like 3-4 minutes each side, and then take it off, put your toppings on, put it back on the grill, lower the heat, but close the cover, and then everything on all the top, the cheese will melt. But the toppings are going to be pretty much cooked here. So the red peppers I'm not going to cook. Well, maybe I'll throw them on for a little bit. But I like them to be pretty crunchy, the toppings here. So red pepper, it takes a while to get it really soft anyway, but I'm just going to quickly heat them up so they get a little sweeter. Whenever you cook something, it sort of brings the sugars out. So I'm going to throw this down here and put a little bit of olive oil on top of it and just let that cook down just for a minute. And I'm going to get my dough out, so I'm going to show you guys how to work with the dough. Is this a good one?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you guys, here, let me get Jake and Asha's. Okay, you guys got to give me a little bit of room. Here, move out of the way.
Ooh. Trev, you got to give it a little bit of room, too.
Okay, move out, honey bun. All right, so I'm going to that's it. That's all I want, because this is going to go on top of the pizza, and for me, it's going to go back in the oven for 5 minutes. So it'll get a little bit more cooked up then too. So we're going to take these off now. And I have my onions, I have my red pepper.
And your glass of wine.
Thanks, Dad. And my glass of wine. So I'm going to put this down here and get the rest of the stuff off. And I'm just putting it right here on the cutting board next to my... Are you going to roll? Okay, you guys have to make some room here then.
Oh.
You guys are going to roll over there. Asha and Jake are going to go roll some of theirs out, and they have to...
There's a pan on one of the stools.
Okay, well, you don't need a stool. One person can sit on the stool, one person get one of these, get this...
Dad,
so there's definitely a crunch left here, but it is sweeter than when I had it raw.
Dad moved it.
Okay, Jake. All right, so I'm just going to cut off a piece for Jake. They're going to make their own personal pan pizzas.
Personal pan.
And so this one, I got one large crust and one medium. There's always, with the kids, something always is a little bit... can you get the flour out of?
Oh, yeah. Flour, you go to my head. Like
okay. And then mine, I'm going to split up into also about 2 or 3 because I like to make smaller pizzas. All right, one sec. All right, so here's your guys.
Is this it?
Yep, thank you. I'm just getting some flour to do a little dusting for the kids because they're gonna roll their pizzas out. I'm actually just gonna do it with my hand, but there's another rolly thing if you want it.
I might gonna try and do it.
Okay, so I'm actually, because I'm gonna grill mine here first, so I'm gonna turn up the heat here.
Girl, get down!
And I have a baking sheet ready because I'm going to put my pizza into the oven, which actually and I'm going to put a little bit oil on the bottom of it so it doesn't stick. It won't stick because it's cooked, but still. And I'm just going to preheat my oven. Pizza likes a really high heat, so I'm going to put it at like about 420 or 425. Everyone's ovens are different, so you just have to sort of see which one is what temperature you would like yours at. But again, generally pizza, you want a really high temperature. So something in the 400s. And also I got this from a store, but you can also get this from your grocery store frozen, or even some, I know Trader Joe's has it in the refrigerator section. So I'm just gonna stick a little bit of olive oil on top of it. And I'm gonna cover it with olive oil. Of course, this is already risen and done its whole thing. You can always make your own pizza dough, and sometimes I do. I just, didn't have it all together. You have to let it rest. You have to let it sit for a while, which is, letting it rest and let the yeast do its work. So in this case, I'm just, you can roll this out, and the kids are doing that over on the countertop, but I'm just gonna sort of stretch it out, do it with your hands. I can't do the, flip. I'm sure someday if I keep practicing, maybe I can, but I'm just gonna stretch this out and I'm going to flatten it and just sort of get it to some sort of shape that I can use. And notice that these are pretty small. The next one I probably will do is a little bit bigger, but I'm going to just let this come out. And it doesn't always have to, ooh, a little red pepper got stuck, that's fine. It doesn't have to always look like a perfect circle. Actually, because I'm using a square grill pan and a square baking sheet, I like mine to be a little bit square so they just all fit nicely on my baking sheet and on my grill pan. So this is, depends on how thin you want your crust. Everyone, wants a different shape, a different thickness, a different size. So here's mine. I'm stretching it out and just letting it be. So it sometimes takes a little working to get it to be where you want it to be. So we like pretty thin crusts around here, I think, mostly. So I am going to...
I like fat crust.
You like the fat crust? All right, well, Jakey likes the fat crust.
And thin crust.
And the thin crust. He's less picky about the crust. Okay, so I put some olive oil on either side. I put a lot on this side. I'm gonna just take my hands, and you can do it obviously with other, a utensil, but your hands are usually a pretty good tool. So here we are. Here's one of them. All I'm gonna do is stick it down. You hear the sizzle. This is on high heat, the grill pan. I guess I'll do this one. Let's see how big. You know what? I'll just do this whole thing now. So I'm gonna do the same exact thing I did to this. I'm gonna keep my eye on this. It's only gonna take about a couple minutes because it's on very high heat. And all I'm doing is, because I'm gonna get this back into the oven too for 5 minutes, so that'll cook it a little bit more. But I do want a nice crust. You can just let it sit. Don't move it around, don't play with it. It'll have great grill marks and be perfect. And also it'll, you can't pick something up too soon or else it'll stick onto your grill. And that goes with dough and meat and other things too. So here I am, I'm going around in circles, stretching my bigger one out here. So one I'm gonna do with some onions. My husband doesn't love sauce. I'm gonna do just like a white pizza for him. Again, I usually use the Dijon mustard as the base, but we're gonna just work without it today. But that is, the flavors sound a little bit strange, but Dijon mustard, caramelized onions, with Gruyere cheese on the top then, and some thyme I add, and I also add goat cheese, which I don't think the one that at the restaurant that we had has in it, but we just like the goat cheese, so I think Gruyere and the goat